Well, today we're going to have a little look at an unboxing of Marvel United, the core set. Now, in terms of miniatures, this is a set of miniatures that I have been painting for a good friend, and we're going to have a look at the core set. I've done some expansion boxes for him already. There's more than one core set available. This is the original one, so as this is the next project we're going to be working on, I thought we'd open it up, have a look, and then as and when we paint them, we can go through those and you can see the process of getting a whole core set painted up, ready to play. So it's published by CMON Games, one of Eric Lang's products, and it's a cooperative card-driven game. So those of you like me who the dice gods rarely favour, this is a little bit better. You also have to work together, but there are many expansions where they add in dozens of different rules and expansion rules and different game mechanics. So the replay value on this, we've played it a bit already, is enormous. And the options for adding on shiny 3D printed and eBayable items to make the game even better are also huge. So let's have a look inside. Of course, new game smell, thing like that. We've got our rulebook. It's not a very big rulebook. It's literally, how many pages is that? 11 pages of rules, and that's including all the extra challenges and of course a solo mode. All these ones you can play solo as well, which is a particularly interesting challenge. Plenty of illustrations and demonstrations of various mechanics, so you can see the mechanics in action, and keeps it all nice and straightforward. Quite an easy one to learn to play. But onto the interesting stuff. What do we have here? Here are our characters. Now, what I like is that the box also works as quite a nice display, so you get everything quite nicely lined up. So we have here the location cards. What happens is in the game, essentially a given number of these are dealt out, and these become the areas where your heroes run around rescuing civilians, beating up the thugs, and working towards making the central villain vulnerable, and then eventually defeating them. So, classic places: Avenger Towers, Stark's Labs, I'm a bit of a scientist myself, Central Park, Shield Headquarters, Shield Helicarrier, Times Square, New York Police Headquarters, give me your badge, and the Avengers Mansion. So that's the core set there. Now again, every set and every expansion has more locations that again you can throw into the mix, so that adds much more to the replay value. I particularly recommend the Spider-Man one that we played. That's got very, very good locations in it, but more of that later. So we have here lots of tokens, lots of activation cards. I would recommend some form of organising trade. You can usually get them from pound shops, or also places like B&Q, that will get all your tokens in an easier way, because this is, I don't have many particular anxieties. However, all those disorganised tokens for a game is possibly acting up my anxiety, but we can deal with that for the moment. In this particular core set, we have obviously the villain's dashboard, and we've got 3 villains. So we have Taskmaster, Red Skull, and Ultron, and there's going to be a card for each one showing various actions that they do, the villainous plots, the way that they win the game instantly. This is one of those game systems where the heroes win all together, or usually the villain can insta-win if things have gone badly wrong. But we're here as the Miniatures Workshop for miniatures, so let's have a look at the miniatures. Now, they're colour-coded when they come out of the box, so you have red for your villains and blue for your heroes. Now, what we will probably do, as we're painting them, we'll paint them up and we'll just leave the rim of the base, or we'll paint the rim of the base colour-coded, so villains will have red bases, heroes will have nice bright blue bases. Some of the expansions do have anti-heroes, so if you look at the X-Men one, Magneto counts as an anti-hero. You can fight against him, you can fight with him, which causes some interesting games if you have Professor X and Magneto together. So let's have a look at these here. As the Red Skull. You see the style of them is actually quite sort of chibi and cartoony, which is really going to do well for painting up, because they're quite a big size. I mean, I would estimate they're around about the 40mm size. Yes, around about 40mm foot to eyeball, thereabouts. So a 32 to 40 mil size model. And yeah, the detail is really extraordinary on them. I mean, considering these are not war games miniatures so much as board games pieces, really quite a firm plastic, something in the middle, not quite hard plastic like you get with models, but enough certainly to be able to take undercoating, spraying and painting. Textured bases as well, because it gives them a little bit more character. I think most people would say that these, even in the box, look good, but perhaps when you had a collection of them out on display on the shelf, might be just even slightly better. So there's Ultron and Taskmaster. And let's have a look through at some of the heroes. Now, I spy something big in the back, so let's have a look at him first. There he is, the Hulk. That's rather nice. But yes, there he goes, bits of rubble everywhere as well on the base. I think we'll start with Hulk. He's going to be fairly straightforward to paint, but he should come out quite nicely. Iconic hero from comic books. Who else do we have? Tony Stark, Iron Man. That's interesting. It's like an explosion going off there as he's bursting into action. I'm sure we can make something out of that. Who else do we have here? I see Captain America, which has actually given me a bit of an inspired idea for a bolt action project as well. That's good. He's going to come out rather well, I think. Now, that's going to be an interesting one. I can see how Venom would come out quite well. Let's just put that there. Now, there are some gaps in this which I might potentially put a little bit of liquid green stuff in, just to fill them in. It's just where there are multiple parts that are assembled in the factory to put together, so just a little bit of liquid green stuff in there might just smooth it out, just around here as well. That's the work of a few moments, really, just when we're cleaning up the model. Doesn't look like a great deal of mould lines to clean either, they're fairly clear. So, again, a little bit here. Nothing that a quick scrape round with a craft knife won't solve. Who else do we have here? Oh, Ant-Man. Let's see, there he is. He's actually on a coin. That's going to be quite interesting to do. I'll have to find a quarter and see exactly what sort of shade they look. So you can do some weathering on that, make it like an old penny. Captain Marvel. Rather good. And last of all, Black Widow. Lots of good space there to do some flesh colourings and tones. On the whole, I think quite a lot of contrast paints will work rather nicely on these. I mean, we're essentially doing them as good board game pieces, and we'll look to go mainly with the artwork on the actual cards you see there. But I think what we'll do is we'll use the card-based artwork for the miniatures. So we'll try and colour match as close as we can and keep that cartoony look to them. But I think that should be quite an interesting project. I'm going to enjoy these. As I say, we've already played the game. It is an excellent cooperative game with lots of expansions. If you have any particular favourite superheroes, they are absolutely definitely in this. I believe that they're expanding out to the DC universe as well with a similar game mechanic. We'll find out more about that when CMON Games release any more information. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I think we'll start with Bruce Banner. You wouldn't like it when he's angry.